just got done watching The Woman King, and I'm ready to tell you this is going to be an instant classic, and it is a must-see movie in theaters because we do not get epic films like this anymore. It is very rare when a studio makes a film like this, and the easiest way to compare this is that this movie is like Gladiator. Like, that same feeling you had watching Gladiator for the first time, you're going to get watching The Woman King, which of course stars the likes of the amazing Viola Davis, Lashanna Lynch, John Boyega, Sheila, Atim, and Thuso Mbedu. I know I probably just mispronounced some of those names, so I do dearly apologize, but I'm so excited to talk about this movie because I didn't love the trailers for this movie. I thought they looked good, but it seemed like something I had seen before, sadly. There looked to be in a great cast. You have Gina Blythewood directing this, who is an amazing director, but there was just something about it that wasn't capturing me just yet. And I always get so worried with how they shoot epic films like this nowadays, because again, they just don't make them like this anymore. And thankfully, Gina Blythewood created a movie that, honest to God, Hollywood would have made back in the early 2000s to late 90s. And I'm so happy to say that The Woman King is that damn good. Of course, what is The Woman King about? In the 1800s, a group of all-female warriors protect the African Kingdom of Dahomey. With the skills and fierceness unlike anything the world has ever seen, with a new threat, the general trains the next generation of recruiters to fight against a foreign army that determines to destroy their way of life. Now this, again, just that idea, just that cast, just that director, it gets you excited, and I really do want to make sure to hear your guys' thoughts, so make sure to leave your thoughts down below, as well as hit that like and subscribe button. If you also love talking movies, you are truly in the right place, and I can't wait to see your guys' thoughts once again on this. Diving right into this, flat out, let's start with the performances, because that's the one thing that really keeps this film from going just into the typical territory. And Viola Davis, we know she's an amazing actress, but this might be one of the top 3 performances that she has ever given in her entire career, and that's spanning a lot of years. But one of the things that I loved about what they did with her character, in particular her performance, is that at one point you think it's just a one-sided way. You look at this character and you're like, oh, she's just the stern general and there's not much more to her. But as you peel back the layers, and they do this with every single one of the characters in the movie, as they peel back the layers, you start to learn more about this general, who she is, why is she the way she is, why is she so broken, and it just keeps diving deeper and deeper. And Viola Davis clambers onto each and every one of those subsections of her characters, fleshing out this character and the background of her in so many ways. In fact, there were turns on her character development that I did not see coming, and when they finally did show up, I was like, wow. That was great. Along the likes, the other female warriors around her, Lashanna Lynch has just proven over the last couple of years that she can just be truly fierce and badass in every single role, but also carry herself in a unique and dynamic manner, and I loved her in this movie. Sheila, Atim, I found to just be stunning, really much the side character, the right-hand woman to Viola Davis, and their chemistry with one another. You can tell there's so much history between them as warriors, as friends, as sisters, and even as family, and I loved it. But the heart and soul of this, and when I say that I think this actress stole the show from Viola Davis, is saying a lot. Because like I mentioned, she is the heart and soul of this entire story, and that is Thuso Mbedu. Now, I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I really do apologize. I'm so bad with names, but she plays Nawi. And Nawi is the main character for the most part of this entire film. No matter what the marketing told you, she is the main character of this. She, all the other characters in here that you see, Lashanna Lynch, Sheila, and of course Viola Davis, they're the leaders of this army. They are, in a way, the generals. They know what they do. They are the ones, the trainers. But this character of Nawi is the one that comes in, the new recruit. And from her perspective, as from the audience, we are seeing how this army grows, how it works, how they train, how they grow and learn to become the way that they did. And Nawi has such a great background history, a great background story that dives into so many different things that I was not expecting. And again, her dynamic with the rest of the cast is stellar. I think Viola Davis and her have great chemistry. I think her and Lashanna Lynch are some of the best aspects of this entire film because in a way, they all see themselves within inside of her. And being the heart and soul of a story like this is so damn important because it's the same way. This is our peek, our eyes into this village. It's the way to bring the audience in and not feel and have to ask questions of, wow, how did they get here before? How did they go through this training? What is their regimen to become here? They don't just become warriors. They don't just join the army and get all badass. There's training to this. There's determination, and there's death. And Nawi is one of my favorite characters of 2022 so far, and that all goes down to the writing. The writing of the story is very gladiator-ish. It's something from that era of time and filmmaking that, again, studios do not make anymore. A crowd-pleasing epic that is just fierce and badass and beautiful all at the same time, but remaining impactful to the culture and the people watching it. You watch this movie and you come out feeling inspirational in a way. That if these women and that this tribe, this group of people can go about and go beyond anything, it's just amazing to see people go above that. And I love seeing movies like this where you feel inspired and you feel hopeful and determined to be able to do anything. And at the same time, learning about a piece of culture that you just don't learn about in the history books at all. And all of that comes together under Gina Blythewood's directing. A direction that I think Blythewood has always been in Hollywood, creating very underrated projects and some of the most classics. And she just right here made another instant classic right there. This is a movie that if you don't go see opening weekend, I can promise you right now, it's going to be one of the most underseen and underrated movies, and it'll absolutely break my heart. But this is a movie that deserves your attention. This is a movie that deserves that attention in theaters because of Blythewood's directing, the way that she brings it all together. Because again, this is a story that you've, maybe seen all the time before. But with stellar performances and then stellar directing mixed in there, you can truly see how it all comes together in a very unique manner. And I'll even go as far as say, there's one subplot in here that I was in a way rolling my eyes at, and I'm like, I don't want it to go this way. And every time it came up to that, I'm like, it's about to go this way. And it goes that way, but it doesn't. And it all dives into the characters and the retrospects of theirs. And I think, again, Gina's direction was one of the reasons that it did work, and it didn't feel cringy or make me roll my eyes. It just felt epic. And that's where it goes as far to say, because when you have an epic like this, you have to have fantastic action sequences. And when the movie started, the action sequences are not John Wick or the Raid stellar. They're not hand-to-hand, like one-shot takes. This is the type of action that, again, you would have seen in the early 2000s, which is just brutal and badass. Jump off shields and stab people and gut them and go all in on that was just fantastic. And I didn't know if this movie was rated R or PG-13 going in. It is a PG-13 movie. I do kind of wish they pushed for the R to get that little bit more of graphicness to some of the battles. But even then, they pushed it up to that rating as far as possible. And every single action sequence gets better than the last. And you just love watching these warriors. You love bonding with this sisterhood, this group of warriors. And I couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't get enough of seeing their training and seeing how they get to these points and seeing how much had built into there. It's truly stunning. And again, I can only go on and on and on about how much I loved this movie. Honestly, if I had any nitpicks, the only nitpick I actually had about this movie was just the time. It feels like a lot of time has passed, and I do kind of wish they would have touched more on the timeline of it all. But other than that, what am I to say? This movie's fantastic. Woman King is an instant classic. Beautiful and badass. Viola Davis slays as always. Lashanna Lynch is incredible. Sheila Atim is amazing. And Thuso Mbedu steals the show as the heart and soul of the entire film. Blythewood created an epic that we don't see anymore from Hollywood, and I am so happy with this film. It blew my expectations out of the water, because I didn't love the trailers. I thought they were good. I thought this was going to be a good movie with fantastic performances, but it all around is a great movie, and probably the best movie I've seen since Top Gun Maverick this year. It's in my top 5 for this year. I do not see it leave my top 5, and I will be absolutely clamoring and cheering this movie on to be seen for the rest of the year. So all said, I'm going to give The Woman King an A. Thank you so much again, guys, for watching. This. You guys are really all the best. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below. Hit that like and subscribe button again. And, of course, until next time, stay classy.